Dear listeners, welcome back to another immersive episode of Dear Listeners, where we don't just talk, we travel through stories. Today, I have something different for you. Not a motivational chat, not a life lesson, but a story, a fictional one. But who knows, it feels real. And as the story unfolds, you may find yourself wondering, what would I have done? So sit back, plug in, and listen closely. There was once a quiet street in a sleepy little town called Windendale. You would not find it on a tourist map. It had one bakery, two tea stalls, and exactly 17 houses lined up in a row. Nothing extraordinary, except for house number 14. Nobody liked number 14, not because it was haunted or broken down. In fact, it looked too perfect. Always neat, always quiet, too quiet. People said strange things had happened there, but never in front of them. It was always someone who heard something or saw something from afar. The house belonged to a woman named Mrs. Ananya Deshmukh. She was in her late 60s, lived alone, and had the most emotionless face anyone had ever seen. No one remembered her smiling. She rarely left the house, and if she did, it was always early morning, just around 5 a.m. And then one day, she disappeared. You see, most people ignored her, except Meera, a 23-year-old journalism student who had moved in the next door just 3 months ago. She had a habit of noticing things, small things, like how Mrs. Deshmukh always looked nervous when she checked the mailbox, how she would keep her back door open for exactly 2 minutes each Thursday at 4 p.m., and how she had once whispered something like, "He's still here." Meera had not thought much of it until the morning when she noticed the newspaper had not been picked up from Mrs. Deshmukh's porch. That had never happened before. Then day two passed, still no newspaper picked, still no movement inside the house. By day four, Meera knew something was wrong. The police said maybe she went to visit a relative. The neighbor said she probably moved. Old people do that suddenly. But Meera could not shake off the feeling. So one evening she slipped a note under the front door. It read, "Mrs. Deshmukh, if you are in trouble, blink your porch light twice tonight at 9 p.m." She waited. At exactly 9:02 p.m., the porch light blinked twice. Meera's heart nearly stopped. She called the police again. They laughed. She probably has a loose connection, nothing serious. So Meera decided to take matters into her own hands. One rainy night, Meera jumped over the fence and walked around the house. The back door was slightly ajar, as it often used to be. She pushed it gently and entered. The smell was of old wood and something else, a sharp metallic odor she couldn't place. The kitchen was spotless, the floor didn't even have a dust speck. But then she saw it, a small red notebook on the dining table. On the cover it said, "For Meera." She opened it. The first line read, "If you are reading this, then I'm no longer free." Meera read faster. Mrs. Deshmukh had written that for the past 2 years she had been held captive in her own home by a man named Rishi, her late husband's friend. After her husband's death, Rishi had started visiting and then never left. He threatened her, took her money, watched her, controlled everything. And no one knew because no one ever cared enough to look. She wrote that he could go out only once a week, every Sunday night, to drink at bar nearby. And that was the only time she could move freely. The last line of the notebook said, "He has cameras in the house. If I get caught leaving this for you, I don't know what will happen." Meera felt a chill crawl down her spine. That Sunday, Meera waited outside the house, her heart pounding. At exactly 10:15 p.m., she saw a man, tall, stocky, wearing a hoodie, step out and lock the front door. She waited 5 more minutes before running in. Mrs. Deshmukh was sitting in the dark, already dressed with a small bag beside her. They didn't speak. Meera grabbed her hand and then they ran. They didn't stop running until they reached the police station. At first, the police didn't believe them, but then they went to number 14. Inside, they found cameras, the chains, the logbook where Rishi had written disturbing notes. He had returned that night drunk, only to find the house empty and sirens waiting for him. He was arrested on multiple charges, including illegal confinement, financial abuse, and intimidation. And Mrs. Deshmukh? She smiled for the first time in years. Meera helped her move to a new city. They stayed in touch. Mrs. Deshmukh even joined a book club. Last Meera heard, she was learning to paint. People still ask Meera, why did you care so much? Why didn't you just ignore it like everyone else? And she always says the same thing, because no one else did. Dear listeners, sometimes stories are more than just stories. They are reminders to observe, to care, to question what seems normal. Today's story was a made up one, yes, but who knows, somewhere, someone might be waiting for a Meera to notice. Until next time, keep listening, keep feeling, and don't ignore the silence around you. This is Sunita Rawat signing off, and you're listening to Dear Listeners.